Look at these cinematic shots.
On March 31st, 2018, me and 380 other people left for the Dominican Republic. We were going to spend spring break serving God and ministering to the people of Dominican Republic. After a few days there, I realized this trip was so much bigger than me. So while I share what I saw visually, I asked some of my friends to share how they saw God move on this trip.
God used me this week in a great way, actually. During group time, as we were talking with everybody, he made me more vulnerable. He made me more open to talking to people about things that are personal to me and sharing things. It made me feel great, getting that off my chest. And it was just great to see him use me in that way this week.
For me, it was kind of like with the kids. I played with a bunch of kids in the villages, and I saw like God working through them. Even though I couldn't speak fluent Spanish, like the message kind of got through. And to me, that was like something that God did, like because He knew that I can't speak fluent Spanish, that the message just got through, and that made me really happy.
It was cool just like seeing God work through me, and so it was just cool like getting to know them and just seeing the smiles on their faces when we walk in, and seeing Carmen just like light up when she listens to me again, coming to see her. And it's actually kind of saddening leaving, but it was a fantastic trip.
So yeah, on the first day, we weren't supposed to do door to door, but I just felt a need to go talk to the people. So I guess God used me to talk to a bunch of families, and a lot of them came to the church. So that was pretty cool.
There was a really big God moment on the trip this year. We were doing feeding, and we were waiting in the church for a while because we were waiting for all the families to get there. And so while we were waiting, they had some music instruments there, like some keyboard and drums and stuff, and a couple kids from the family groups started playing them, and then a lady walked up from one of the families and started looking up the lyrics to one of the songs we sing, and she just started worshiping in Spanish, and we were all kind of worshiping together, and it was so beautiful, listening to you could hear both languages praising God, and it was just such a cool experience. I got chills. It was just really awesome.
We went to VBS at a school, and I met this 15-year-old girl named Laura, and I played games with her all day, and I could tell we had a connection of some sort. And then I went back 2 days later, and I waved to her, and I didn't think she remembered me. And then after we were done sharing the gospel and stuff, she went over to one of our translators and asked if there was a Nicole here. And so then they came and got me, and I pulled her aside, and I had a translator next to me, and I was telling her, I was asking her why she hadn't accepted God yet into her life, and she was saying, I want to, I just haven't had the opportunity to. And so I started sharing the gospel with her, and telling her the amazing things God's done for me in my life, and then she opened up to me about how she has a lot of family problems, and how her mom has been telling her that she doesn't want her anymore, and that she wished she never had her. So I prayed for her and told her that God loves her, and I gave her some verses from the Bible, and I started crying a lot, and she started crying, and I felt like we each had a connection, that God put me in that place so I could help her become better and have a better life. So I wrote her a letter in Spanish, from a verse from a bilingual Bible, and then put it on the note card, and then wrote a little bit in Spanish about how I was so blessed to have met her, and then I gave it to her. And now the leaders are helping her get into a church, and they're giving her clothes to wear, and they're going to find a car for her to get there. They're going to provide transportation for her. So yeah, it was really great.
So when we were doing door to door, we went up to one house, and my leader began to explain the gospel, and the guy he was talking to was like, "Oh, I remember you from 3 years ago. You were the one that led me to Christ." But at the time, he didn't accept him that day. And so it was really cool to see that even when we go around and we don't think we've really done anything, we really are planting seeds, and God actually does grow them. And we really do impact these people's lives. And no thing is too little when it comes to God's power.
So I decided to share the bead story. And after I got done explaining, a bunch of kids came up to me. So I asked the translator to tell them or ask them if they've accepted
Jesus into their heart, and they said yes. So that was a moment where I was like, dang, like God used me to tell them about him, and now they've accepted him into their lives, and now they're gonna like continue to grow with him. So that was a moment that I really liked about the trip.
So on Thursday we had sports and construction, so I knew it was going to be like a long day, but we were able to go into this village and just play sports with them, and my team was doing wiffle ball and slash baseball. And then towards the end we were able to sit them down and shared my testimony and presented the gospel, and 10 kids came to Christ that day, and it was amazing to see how God could use something that we all loved, and even though there was a language barrier, He still used it for good, and lives were changed, and it was a really cool moment.
I've seen kids come out of their shells just for God. I've seen kids that didn't speak, kids that had walls up. I've seen them discover ways that they can spread the love of God, whether it was playing with children or, leading gospel, leading testimonies to whole groups of children. Girls that wouldn't share their testimony with our small group shared their testimony with, dozens of kids at a time. And I've seen boys step up and lead groups despite adversity. I've just seen so much growth in all these kids, and it's just amazing what God can do when they truly can be in the presence of Him and just feel saturated by His love. So.
Alright, how do you turn this thing off?
She was like, "Are you serious?" And Marianne was like,
Do I just-
"I love you," and I was like, "So awesome."
Bye.
Your leader?